Hello students, today we will discuss about hypothyroidism in children. Okay, now hypothyroidism, it results from the deficiency of production of thyroid hormone. It The defect can be in thyroid gland itself, or it can be due to decreased TSH production, uh, and cause can be in pituitary or in hypothalamus. So if defect is in gland itself, it is called as primary hypothyroidism, and if defect is in TSH secretion, then it is called as secondary or central or hypopituitary hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism can be congenital or it can be acquired. In congenital hypothyroidism, this is most common preventable cause of mental retardation. Okay, it cannot, it can we cannot see, or the manifestations are not obvious at the time of birth because there is maternal thyroid hormone, thyroxine hormone, passage through placenta. Half-life of thyroxine is 6 days, and maternal thyroxine will be metabolized and excreted by 3 to 4 weeks of age. Okay, so manifestation of congenital hypothyroidism can start appear at around 3 to 4 weeks of age. Incidence, overall worldwide incidence of hypothyroidism is 1 in 3000 to 4000 births, but in India it is around 1 in every 1000 to 2000 live births. Okay, there are hypothyroidism in preterm, and the cause is there is hypothalamo pituitary thyroid axis immature in preterm child, which leads to reduced thyroxine releasing hormone production, and there is immature response of thyroid gland to TSH. There is inefficient organification of iodine, reduced capacity to convert T4 into active T3. There is loss of maternal thyroxine contribution, immaturity of peripheral tissue deiodination. Etiologies are, for primary thyroidal, there is thyroid dysgenesis. It can be agenesis of thyroid, hypoplasia of thyroid, or ectopic thyroid. In dysharmogenesis, which sums up 10 to 20% of cases, there is sodium iodine symporter defect, thyroid peroxidase defect, thyroglobulin defect, and deiodinase defect. Other causes can be transient maternal TSH receptor blocking antibodies, maternal antithyroid drugs, maternal or neonatal iodine deficiency, or excess of iodine exposure. Secondary or central, the causes are isolated TSH deficiency and hypopituitarism. Now, what are the clinical features in neonates? We can find these things: prolonged jaundice, okay, feeding difficulty, lethargy, constipation. Umbilical hernia can be with hypothyroidism, or it cannot be isolated. It can be isolated. Macroglossia, which is large tongue, hypothermia, and hoarse cry. Other features are birth weight and height, length of the newborn will be normal. In CNS, there can be increased head circumference due to mixed edema of brain. There can be wide open anterior fontanelle, and posterior fontanelle can be open in patient with congenital hypothyroidism. We can find lethargy or excessive sleepiness, and hypotonia and poor cry. In GIT, child newborn will be constipated. There can be prolongation of physiological jaundice. It is due to delayed maturation of glucuronide conjugation. Protruded abdomen, umbilical hernia, and protruded tongue can be seen. In cases of dysharmonogenesis, there can be goiter. We can find cold and mottled skin, and hypothermia can be there. Newborn will show bradycardia, slow pulses, can show cardiomegaly and pericardial effusion. There can be apnea, nasal obstruction, and choking. Uh, Now, what are the manifestation of congenital hypothyroidism in later life? We can find if patient is not treated for 3 to 6 months, we can see there is physical and mental retardation, short stature, stunted growth, short extremities, delayed milestone, and delayed dentation. Delayed dentation is called, we say dentation is delayed if no teeth appear even after 13 months of age. Facies, we can find narrow palpebral fissure with swollen eyelids. This is due to edema of eyelids, myxedema of eyelids. Mouth, patient kept his mouth open. There can be thick and broad tongue, okay, and protruded tongue, short and thick neck, dry skin with pale and shallow complexion and coarse hairs. There will be hypotonia and pseudo hypertrophy of muscle. Now we look at this infant, we can clearly see there is depressed nasal bridge, protruded tongue, open mouth, eyelid edema is also here, myxedema. Okay. Now what are the investigation? Low serum thyroxine and elevated TSH levels can be seen. The most sensitive strategy is for screening for newborn TSH, and best window is 48 to 72 hours. If we found any abnormality here, then we can go for serum thyroglobulin, ultrasonography of thyroid. Absent distal femoral epiphysis and stippled epiphysis are seen in X-ray. Okay. Now this is a reference table, gestational age wise reference table for T3, T4 and TSH according to the age of the newborn. Okay, this shows mean and standard deviation. Now, if we send newborn screening at 48 to 72 hours and we find out that there is normal T4 and normal TSH, then patient is normal. If there is low T4 and normal TSH, we have to repeat newborn screen, and T4 TSH and thyroid binding globulin has to be sent. If normal free T4 and low thyroid binding globulin, then this is thyroid binding globulin deficiency. No treatment is required, okay, and we have to monitor the child. If low free T4 and normal thyroid binding globulin, this is due to physiologic immaturity or central hypothyroidism, then we have to further evaluate this child. If there is low T4 and high TSH, this can be due to transient or permanent congenital hypothyroidism. We have to send repeat newborn screening, and we have to send free T4, TSH, thyroid binding globulin. Okay, and if patient has normal T4 and high TSH, then what we have to do, this screening has performed at 72 hours. Okay, then we have to send repeat sample for free T4 and TSH. If level is around more, TSH is more than or equal to 20 milli unit per liter, we have to start treating hypothyroidism. If it is between 6 to 20, then we have to send repeat sample, and if in repeat sampling we found TSH more than 10 milli international unit, then we have to start treating. Now this X-ray shows there is absent of distal femoral epiphysis. Here we cannot find any epiphysis in this infant. This shows congenital hypothyroidism. And here dysgenesis of head of humerus. Okay. Now, for congenital hypothyroidism, we start treatment with 10 to 15 microgram per kg of thyroxine tablet. This has to be given early in the morning, and we have to avoid milk 30 to 60 minutes after. Okay, the tablet can be dissolved in milk and then it can be given to the newborn. Now, how do we monitor? We have to continuously monitor the growth of the child, and we have to send child for hearing assessment. We also have to see for development of this patient. About laboratory monitoring, we have to repeat TSH and free 3-4 level 2 weeks after starting the treatment, then every 2 weeks till normalization of TSH, which is 0.5 to 2 milliunit per liter. Then after normalization, every 1 to 3 months till patient is 1 years of age. We recommend 3 months up to the 1 years of age, and then after every 2 to 4 months up in child 1 to 3 years of age, then every 3 to 12 monthly till growth is complete, and after and if we change those in between, then we have to repeat it 4 to 6 weeks after any change in the dose. Now, acquired hypothyroidism incidence is 0.3%. It is twice as common in females as compared to the male. There can be two types of acquired hypothyroidism. One is subclinical, another is overt hypothyroidism. In subclinical hypothyroidism, we can find high serum TSH level for that age, but normal free T4 level. And in overt hypothyroidism, both serum TSH and T4 will be low for that age. Now, what are the etiologies of acquired hypothyroidism? Primary hypothyroidism, which means the defect is in thyroid gland itself. This is most common cause of acquired hypothyroidism. In this, autoimmune hypothyroidisms are most common, and in autoimmune hypothyroidism, Hashimoto thyroiditis is most common cause. Other are autoimmune polyglandular syndrome. These syndromes, these can cause acquired or like Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, Klinefelter, acquired or congenital hypothyroidism. Now, due to any thyroid surgery or irradiation or post-thyroiditis or any infiltrative disorder, we can see primary hypothyroidism. Drugs which cause primary hypothyroidism are lithium, iodine, amiodarone, methimazole, propylthiouracil, and anticonvulsants. Now, secondary or central hypothyroidism, many CNS tumors can cause secondary hypothyroidism. CNS irradiation, meningoencephalitis can lead to hypothyroidism. Any infiltrative disorder, hypopituitarism can cause secondary hypothyroidism. Now, peripheral hypothyroidism, it can be due to resistant thyroid hormone or consumptive hypothyroidism in cases of large hemangiomas. These increase the consumption of thyroid hormone. Now, what are the clinical features of acquired hypothyroidism? We can see goiter, growth retardation, delayed bone age, and pubertal disorder, delayed puberty, pseudo precocious puberty, menometrorrhagia, galactorrhea. Okay, amenorrhea can also be due to hypothyroidism, lethargy, fatigue. We can see weight gain, which is due to fluid retention, and fluid retention is due to impaired renal free water clearance, bradycardia, pericardial effusion, and heart failure. Important thing is bradycardia during sleeping. Sorry, bradycardia, pericardial effusion, and heart failure. We can also find constipation as a symptom here. Patient complain of cold intolerance and hypothermia. We can see dry and myxomatous skin. We can also see coarse skin of patient. In CNS, we can see muscle hypotonia, delayed deep tendon reflexes, okay, pseudo hypertrophy of muscle, and patient also complained of lethargy. Now, how do we diagnose? We have to send serum free T4 and TSH, and we have to use age specific ranges for these parameters. Another is serum thyroid peroxidase and thyroglobulin antibodies levels. X-ray can be performed for bone age assessment. In hypothyroidism, there will be delayed bone age. Ultrasonography for thyroid morphology for any nodule or other things. And nuclear scan, these are rarely required. Now, this table shows age-wise range of different thyroid hormones. Okay. Now, if there is elevated TSH and low free T4, now this is overt primary hypothyroidism. Now, next step we have to do is to check for thyroid antibodies. If these are positive, what are the thyroid antibodies? These thyroid peroxidase and thyroglobulin antibodies. If these are present, then it is autoimmune thyroid disease. It can be negative in autoimmune thyroid disease. It can be negative in drug induced dysharmonogenesis. Now, how do we treat this? We give thyroid replacement therapy. Okay, if TSH is elevated and free T4 is normal, this is subclinical hypothyroidism. We have to start thyroxine in this type of patient and also send thyroid antibodies. We give thyroxine, we do not wait for this test. If low free T4 and normal TSH, this is secondary hypothyroidism. Okay, we have to screen for hypopituitarism, goiter with normal thyroid function test and negative for thyroid antibodies. We only have to reassure the patient and it only needs follow up. No treatment is required. These are different type of goiter. Here we can see a smooth uniform enlargement of thyroid. This is seen in autoimmune thyroiditis like Hashimoto's thyroid. Here we can see there is asymmetric enlargement of right side of thyroid. This is due to benign adenoma of right lobe of thyroid. Here we can see multiple nodules. This is multinodular goiter. It is seen in papillary carcinoma of thyroid. Now, what are the grading of goiter? As per WHO, there are three grades. Grade 0, when goiter is not palpable on physical examination and not visible, even neck is extended. Now, grade 1 is when goiter is palpable. It is divided further into A and B. If goiter is detected on palpation, it is 1A. If goiter is palpable and visible when neck is extended, it is 1B. Grade 2, goiter visible when neck is in normal position. We do not require extending the neck to see this kind of goiter. And in grade 3, large goiter visible from distance. Now, what are the treatment? We have to give levothyroxine. Okay, this is treatment of choice and it can be required for lifelong. Can be required for lifelong. Now, doses, age specific doses are there for children 1 to 3 years of age, 4 to 6 microgram per kg per day. For age 3 to 10 year, 3 to 5 microgram per kg per day. For age 10 to 16 year, dose is 2 to 4 microgram per kg per day. Another approach is we give 100 microgram per meter square. Okay, administration, fasting state, early morning and avoid food for 30 to 60 minutes. How do we monitor? We do growth monitoring in laboratory. We have to do every TSH and free T4 6 week after starting the treatment, and if we change dose, then we have to monitor every 6 weeks, and if we do not change any dose or otherwise, 4 to 6 monthly. Now prognosis, first year of therapy, there we can see transient deterioration of schoolwork, poor sleeping habit, restlessness, short attention span, and behavior problems can occur. These problems only require reassurance. Adequate growth can be achieved if diagnosed early and adequately treated, and if patient we diagnose late, then we will see poor catch up of growth. Okay, so this sums up about hypothyroidism in children. Thank you.